Football is a game of power,
Speed,
intelligence,
passion,
and now more than ever, data.
lots of it. Since 2017, the NFL has partnered with AWS to develop NextGen stats.
By combining player tracking data with machine learning models, NextGen Stats is able to go beyond the traditional box score and answer questions like,
Who's the most efficient running back in the league?
or what's the completion probability of a specific pass?
So how does it all work?
And how is it all done in real time?
Well, that's what we're going to find out. My name is Morgan Willis.
And I'm Alex Galvin. Join us in this multi-part series as we explore NFL NextGen Stats powered by AWS. Thanks for joining us today to have a little chat. To kick things off here, can you describe what the NextGen Stats platform is?
So about 10 years ago, the NFL set out to track the speed, location, direction, acceleration, etc. of every player across every game league-wide.
We put chips on all the players and used that chip data to create advanced statistics. We were looking for ways to expand upon the traditional box score, seeing what we could do if we added technology to the game.
So what could start off as how fast did a player run or how much distance did they cover evolves into more complex stats, like what coverage did the defense run or what route did the receiver run on the play. And through years and years of development, our stats toolbox has gone from those rudimentary business logic-based stats to much more complex machine learning and AI developed metrics.
Let's define those terms, business logic and machine learning. Business logic refers to clear, rule-based decisions, like calculating a quarterback's completion percentage. That's simple math or logic that can be represented with code. Machine learning finds patterns in data without us defining every rule. If the problem you're trying to solve is messy, with tons of variables and no obvious formula, or if you're trying to make complex predictions, machine learning is a game changer. Like trying to answer, what's the likelihood a play will result in a first down? That quickly becomes too complex for traditional logic to handle. There are simply too many variables interacting at once. That's where machine learning comes in. Using Amazon SageMaker, models can be trained on thousands of past plays to recognize patterns and make real-time predictions based on live data.
Now, let's actually talk a little bit about the tech here. You've got all of this data, all of these stats that are being generated, at stadiums all over the globe. What do you do to get that data back into AWS?
So the tracking system is an RF-based tracking system. And so all of the players are wearing an RFID chip in their shoulder pads.
Have you gotten to try out these tags yourself?
Absolutely. Do you want me to go grab one?
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Yeah.
So these are our player tags. This is actually the ball tag that's installed inside the ball. And then these are the player tags. There's one under each chiplet. Those chips chirp out 10 times a second. We have a system installed around the ring of the stadium that's listening for those. It goes back to a server stack, process everything, send it to the cloud, up to AWS, and then that's where all the good stuff happens.
That data goes over standard internet connections, over 10 gigabyte pipes, and they arrive at our servers in the US East 1 region. And we built specific streaming servers to receive all of that data, and then that goes into our processing pipeline.
A generic data pipeline moves information through 4 stages: ingestion, processing, storage, and consumption. Ingestion is where raw data gets collected. For the NFL, that's RFID signals from players and the ball. Processing cleans or transforms that data somehow. And in the case of the NFL, this is using machine learning models in real time to transform the raw data into stats. Storage is where the results of that data transformation live, usually in databases or some other form of data storage. Finally, consumption is how that data gets used. Downstream consumers of the stats power live game analysis, broadcast graphics, or tools for deeper historical insights.
Our processing pipeline consists of over 200 different Java and Node and Python processors that are consuming messages off of a message broker, which we're using Kafka for. And then the various processors have all sorts of different tasks. Some of it is to just store it into the database. Then it prepares it for consumption by our media partners, our teams, and our fans.
Has collecting all of this data changed how the game is played?
Absolutely. Each and every one of the 32 teams is using the NextGen Stats platform and the data to make decisions every day.
10 years ago when we started, a lot of coaches were telling us we don't need that. You need years of experience in football to be able to do the things that they do. Within 5 years, I think we saw all teams starting to have statistics department on site.
There are use cases of NextGen Stats that go far beyond the broadcast, whether it's the teams themselves, the league office, partners across different video games, sports gambling partners. There's so many different use cases and utilities of NextGen Stats data that it'd be impossible to truly measure.
Join us for the next episode where we'll see what happens once the player tracking data hits the AWS cloud.